You've got to look at yourself as a brand. A lot of people don't necessarily do that. And in order to stand out, you need to be different. Don't be a copycat. There's a lot of people doing the same kind of things and copying a lot of other people. What you need to start doing is you need to start positioning yourself as a unique individual with unique expertise. There's a lot of people that want to make a difference, but they're not following their own messages. They're not following whatever it is that they preach. So I highly recommend that you walk your talk. You don't copy other people, you take yourself seriously, you take your brand seriously, but you also look at opportunities to either partner with people or find the platforms where you can speak. The platforms where you're going to have hundreds or thousands of people attending, and that's the best way for you to start connecting and meeting and working with individuals. It's the best, it's the easiest way, and it can happen very, very quickly.
Now, the Best You Personal and Professional Development Virtual Expos are happening globally in 2020 and 2021. If you are a coach, a motivational speaker, a therapist, and are looking to transform your business, build a community, and generate customers from a global audience, this is the opportunity for you. Now is your chance to join forces with the Best You, one of the largest personal development brands on the planet. Book your speaking slot, your virtual booth, and get tickets to attend now. Are you sick and tired of struggling to get your career to where you want it to be? Working with the right coach can be a life-changing experience, and Bernardo Moya is changing lives all over the world. Learn how to create revenue streams, attract higher qualified clients consistently, market your brand, and promote your business to a global audience. Bernardo is one of the biggest names in the world of personal development. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a founder and chief inspirational officer of the Best You Corporation. So fast track your career now.
My approach when it comes down to life really is about the holistic approach. And the holistic means is that everything that you do is important for you to become who you need to become. It starts with becoming aware of your thoughts. It starts surrounding yourself with the right people, focusing on the things that are important, building relationships, love. It's all important. It's all part of the process of growing. Life's too short. And if you don't really focus on where you're going and where you want to do and who you want to become, what's going to happen is eventually one day you will regret it. One of the most important questions I ask in the book, my book, the question is, what are you here for? What is your purpose? And we're all here for a reason. You need to understand what that reason is, and you need to start working towards it now.
The Best You is leading the way in the industry of personal and professional growth. Through our magazine, expos, e-learning, TV, club, and awards, The Best You's objective is to help people achieve their dreams, to do more, to be more, to live a life without limits. Join us if you believe in helping and inspiring others, in changing the world, in making it a more just and fair place through education and inspiration. Our goal, everyone, everywhere, now. If you are interested in making a difference, working, partnering, volunteering, supporting, or even licensing The Best You, let's talk. Let's work together and make the world a better place.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
You've chosen, place your fingerprints on life, and make a difference right now.
You are the defiant human spirit.
Every adversity carries a seed of a greater good.
Dreams matter so much.
What do you want? What do you really want?
What is a normal life? 74, 77 years on Earth? That only equates to 30,000 days on Earth. Time is not running out, but your life is.
The hardest thing to actually master is faith. When you get to that level, you feel like you're manipulating reality.
Dreams are the spark plugs of the spirit. Imagination enables you to really think, imagine, decide on what you'd like to do with your life.
I don't think there was a point along the way of my career where I wasn't seeing myself in a movie of where I was going to be a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out, and I saw it like it existed.
Some people don't believe in the law of attraction. I've proven it, I've seen it scientifically.
When we're born, we're risk takers, and then as we grow older, we're taught to play it safe.
A burning desire is an inner candle, an inner flame that can never be extinguished. And no matter what may go before you, come hell or high water, you are going to bet your existence on this burning desire.
The biggest dream you ever had in your life is alive and well. And the only thing you have to do to activate it is sit right where you're sitting right now and say, yes, I'm going to do that.
Every one of us has inside of us the desire to do something big.
There's no secret to success. If there is a secret to success, it's just that. There is no secret.
Life should be a rich experience. Do yourself a favor and really begin to think.
Hey, we're back. We're back. We just had some technical issues, but we're back and we have the highlight. The highlight, one of the highlights of the whole week. One of the highlights for me, having here Mr. Les Brown. And I'm so excited, Mo, delighted. Let's just bring him in. And I believe he has owner with him.
I'm great, and so
Les,
are
how
you.
are you? Look at that
I'm great.
smile,
How are
man.
you?
Hey, owner, how you doing? I'm very good. I'm very good. Well, you're squeezed in the camera there, but as soon as I leave, you'll both be there with those big smiles.
Yeah.
Les, so amazing to see you. You look $1 million.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to see you. Well, listen, for me, it's an honor. For those of you that don't know who Les Brown is, the first question is, where have you been? What planet do you live on? He's one of the world's most renowned motivational speakers. He's a dynamic personality and highly sought after resource. He's been, helping and providing advice to the top 500, Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, nonprofit communities, and all sorts of sectors of society. Les is committed to motivated and training people, and he has inspired so many people, so many generations. And to have Les here with me is just an honor. Les, I'm like a little. I can't leave, but I have to leave. I have to give you the mic. So look, Ona, I'm very excited that you're here too. Now, Ona was going to be or is speaking as well, but
I'm speaking as well, Bernardo. But I'm just here to back Dad up because he's putting out a lot of energy today. So I'm just here to back him up.
Brilliant. Well, listen, darling, I will do an interact. We also have Ona speaking later. So Ona Brown, obviously, in her own right, is a phenomenal speaker. And she's going to be speaking as well herself. So Les, look, we're gonna give you the floor. You're gonna obviously do your thing. I wanted to have the opportunity at least to have maybe 15 or 20 minutes. I know I've got some questions, and I'm sure everyone else does here. So thank you so much, and looking forward to your talk, Les. Take care. Lots of love.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate the work that you're doing to help people to live their dreams rather than their fears. And we'd like to say hello to everyone. And at this time that we're going to be spending to help you to begin to go to that place within yourself that really ignites and releases privilege to be here to do that with my daughter, Dr. Ona Brown. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, Dad. How are you?
I'm great and grateful and grinding.
Yes. And you look fabulous. Your 70 fine is amazing.
Thank you. She told me when February 17th, I turned 75. And she said, no, you're not 75. I said, well, what am I? She said, you're 75. I said, come on now. That's what we're talking about. Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like for you to join me on this, and we'll just do some things together, go back and forth.
Okay.
All right. I want everybody to think about your goals and dreams right now. And this conference it's about helping you to begin to go to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself. We're living in a different kind of place that we have never seen before. Our lives have been disrupted, turned upside down, and people are fearful. Many people are filled with anxiety and uncertainty. There are people that are deeply depressed about what's going on right now and confused with all of the various messages that's coming at them, and stuff happening back to back. We get up in the morning, we just don't know what's going to happen next. Am I right?
From one day to the next, we take one day at a time.
Yeah, that's why I have a flat top right now. I don't know if you saw the movie called
Kid in Play.
Yeah, Kid in Play. It's called House Party. Well, my barber, I told him he can't come now because I'm protesting. This is my Corona fro. So, but what we want you to do right now, I want you to focus on your dream. And I want you to focus on what is going to be different about you when we come through this experience. My good friend Willie Jolly said, we will get through this. There's no question. This has not come to stay. This has come to pass. So I want you to think about your goals and dreams. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of speakers speak on a variety of things. But I want to talk to you from my new book is called You've Got to Be Hungry, The Greatness Within to Win. You have something special. You have greatness in you. And if there's a time that people need to be aware of that, it's now. But not consumed with fear. You know, Zig Ziglar talking about fear. He said, most people in the presence of fear, they forget everything and run. But there's a small number of people, and that's you, a small number of people who face everything and rise.
That's good.
Yes. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals, look at your dreams, I want you to think about what does your life look like after this episode? What does it look like? Now, we want to be intelligent now. We want to be mindful about keeping social distancing from people, and me, in my case, people and the refrigerator, because I'm not coming out till 2027. I don't look here. I go to one window here in the house, and I have learned how to talk to squirrels. I'm just okay. No. Don't tell them about that.
Skip over that part.
She said, this is a family secret, me talking to squirrels and naming trees. I don't hug them, but I give them a virtual hug up in here. Oh, behave. I say to the trees, you make me Randy, baby.
Dad, keep going.
Okay. I didn't take my medication. I'm sorry. Okay, yes. Yeah. So, but I want you to think about your goals and dreams. And I want you to think about them in three areas. One, some personal goal you would like to achieve. My first personal goal was to buy my mother a home. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City with my twin brother, Wesley, an abandoned building on a floor. And we were taken in as foster kids. And then ultimately, Mama adopted us. I'm here because of two women. One gave me life. The other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. So what is one major personal goal that you want to achieve. All right. I achieved the goal of buying my mother a home. Now I'm working on becoming free of cancer. I'm a 27-year 4th-stage cancer conqueror. I've been kicking cancer's butt for so long, the cancer rate of my neighborhood has dropped. Can you feel?
By however, we also found out that Dr. Taha was saying to you that for you to have been through all that you've been through for all of these years and the fight that you've been going through with cancer, it's just a miracle. You are a walking miracle.
Yeah, because it had metastasized to 7 areas of my body. My PSA was 2,400. PSA stands for prostate specific antigen. 1 to 4 is normal, to put it in proper context. But PSA for me stands for positively staying alive. Yes. And so she was there when he spoke to me. He was a character. He said, you know what? I said, you have prostate cancer. I said, can you give me a second opinion? He said, yes. And you're ugly too. I said, I know. You didn't just call me ugly, did you? He said, yes, you're ugly. But then he said, but you got this. We determine the diagnosis, but God determines the prognosis. You got this. And when I left his office, I didn't leave there with a heart full of fear. I left there with a heart full of faith and knowing that I will get through this. And that's what we want you to know, that there's certain things that we know in our hearts that the mind can't comprehend, because the mind is logical, realistic. No, there's a reason that the book of life says, lean not unto thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. There's some things that you can do that you don't even know that you can do. And just because you can't see it does not mean you can't do it. I sat on the sidelines being a spectator for years because I couldn't see myself living the life that I'm now living. And probably because of my mental conditioning, being born in an abandoned building on a floor, being a foster child, adopted, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, failing again in the 8th grade, no college training, that the conversations, the environment, the things that I saw helped to formulate a limited vision of what's possible for me. Ona?
Yes, and I would like to say that one of the things that I admire about you, Dad, is that even though you had to face all of these different physical challenges, even in the midst of your pain, even in the midst of your challenges, you were still allowing yourself to be utilized as an instrument. You were still willing to take the stage and to pour into others and to speak life into others. And there was something about your conviction, something about your ability to rise above the circumstances and the situations that you were first facing in your own reality, but still being willing to be an instrument of God. And I believe that that is something that we all must take on, that spirit that says, yes, there's uncertainty all around. There is a lot of challenges that we are facing. There's a lot of fear. However, I am willing to be utilized in some way to do good. What is our favorite saying? Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. And so being that good man or woman who is willing to do something. And that's what I admire about who you are and what you had to grow through, or you chose to grow through during these challenging times that you were in. And even now, you still get up and get dressed and get on your lives and pour into people's lives and life, and you help them because there's something in you that says, I want to do good. There's something in you that says, I want to be utilized. There's something in you that says, I want to plant some seeds of greatness today. And I'm not sure who it might land on, who it might resonate with, who it might save or help or inspire, but I'm willing to do my part in this thing called life.
You know, Dr. Howard Thurman, he comes to mind right now. He was the mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Albert Schweitzer, Mahatma Gandhi. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the talents, the abilities, the skills, the leadership, the stories that you have, that they're looking at you with large, angry eyes saying, we came to you and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died right now, what books, what speech, what potential, what greatness, what innovation, what invention, what would die with you? Miles Monroe, great preacher from the Bahamas, who's on the other side now. Miles said, the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. There you'll find dreams never pursued, gifts never used, inventions that never came out. You'll find people with all type of abilities, talents, and skills that the world never heard from. Live full, die empty.
And that reminds me of Uncle Boo.
Yes.
Uncle Boo was such an amazing cook, your best friend since 3rd grade. And his food was so delicious that people would beg him for the recipes and say, please, Uncle Boo, tell us how you made this. How did you create this sauce? How did you create this gravy? Where did you get this from? And he said, well, you know, one day I'll do a recipe book. One day I'll let you guys know my secrets. And so we kept waiting for that one day. We were hoping for that one day. And then, unfortunately, Uncle Boo actually left this thing called life, waiting on a liver transplant unexpectedly. And it was very challenging for you to go through that. And then to know that as you were leaving the cemetery,
a lady approached me and she said, did your cousin write that book, that cookbook that he said that he was going to do, and you're going to write the forward to it? I said, no. She said, ooh. He took that with him. He took that with him. If you left here now, what will you take with you? You know, Michael Jackson said, this is it. He waited years and said, this is it. This is my last concert. They spent millions of dollars on stadiums, millions of dollars on marketing and promotion and staff. He had no idea that that was never going to happen. It's been said, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. Yes. And so as you think about your goals and dreams, I'm encouraging you, you got to be hungry. Let's talk about this H in hunger. Your dream has to be heart-centered. What's in your heart? You were not born to work for a living, but to live your making, and living your making will make your living. What's in your heart?
Yes. And also, when you listen to your heart, being open to what you hear from your heart, because there are things that come to you and what you might do because of your own negative inner conversation, because of your own programming, because of your own doubts and fears. You might say to yourself, I can't do that. That's not for me. I don't have the ability. I don't have the connections. I don't have the education. So listening to whatever it is that shows up in your heart and honoring that and not being afraid of what your heart tells you. There's a reason why Monday mornings have been notorious, according to statistics, for heart attacks.
Yes.
Because people are not honoring what comes to them from their hearts. And so they're doing what they feel that they have to do, or what they need to do, or what they've been told by society is necessary for them to do, instead of moving forward from a heart-centered place. Right?
Your heart is always speaking to you. Well, your heart is like the title of my daughter's book. What is the title of your book?
Which one?
Own Your Dreams.
Yes, Own Your Dreams. So that one. I have a couple of projects I'm working on right now.
I rebuke every retarded demon. Thank you, Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. Own your dream.
Yes.
Own it. See, most people go through life as volunteer victims. Most people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. Most people live a life driven by fear and trying to survive. What it takes to live and what it takes to survive are two different things. Own your dream. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean you can't do it. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you if you own your dream.
Yes, with Ona Brown.
Come on now. Yeah. And
I love it. So
yes.
How do we, if you had someone that said to you, Dad, how, well, they wouldn't say Dad to you, they would say, Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown, how do I live a heart-centered life? That sounds nice, but it's easier said than done. How do I get to this heart-centered life?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I was in a hotel and the guy was there and he and I were talking and I said, what do you do? And he said that he worked on the job that he was working on it to pay the bills. I said, but what are you living to do? You told me about what you're doing to pay the bills. Is that fulfilling? He said, no. Does that give your life a sense of significance? He said, no. I said, then tell me, what are you living to do? He said, I don't know. I said, but go into your imagination. If you did know, what would that look like? He said, I like to help people. I say, good. You and I in alignment. Then find a way to monetize that. Don't walk away from that. Don't ignore that. That's it. That's who you are. That the greatest among you will be your servant. You love to serve. And helping people is in that category. Now you look for ways in which you can monetize that. That's what I do. I love to help people. I love to speak and motivate and train people how to tap into their greatness, how to monetize their passion. So do that which you were born to do. You were chosen out of 400 million sperm. You are a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. You're not here just to work hard, pay bills, and just die one day. No, there's a special work for you.
Yes, and you know what I hear you saying, Dad, is the fact that most of us are not willing to do the work. Now, the fact that you came to the Best You Expo, you are working on you. You invested your time, your energy, and your money to learn how to become the greatest version of yourself. And so with that being said, what is it that you're willing to do? Because oftentimes we have to be doing that work. If we're not willing to let go of who we are, then we get caught in this place. In the meantime, we get caught in between those two places, and we understand and know that there is more in us and that we've only scraped the surface of our potential. But how do we dig deeper?
I'm glad you asked that question. Deeper. You know, now you done brought up something here. When you're between a dream and a job, come on, somebody. Woo! You know that'll preach. Yes, indeed.
Don't knock the camera over.
Okay. What do you do? I'm getting excited up here. Let me pat my little tap on everything. Well, here's what you have to do. Become clear. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. Think about it and become clear about what that looks like. And also the other thing is you have to experiment. You have to do some things you need to do until you get to do what you want to do. So
Repeat.
You have to do some things that you need to do so you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I used to be a disc jockey. I used to be a community activist. I used to be a state legislator. I used to have a talk show. I've done a variety of things. I was a photographer for a period of time. I used to produce concerts. And when I say LB Triple P Les Brown, your platter playing papa, there was none before me, there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only, young and single, love to mingle, certified, bona fide, and indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. I used to be bad, honey.
You still bad.
Oh, God, you're right. I accept it. Okay, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
That isn't good for those.
Yes,
who don't
absolutely,
know. Okay.
absolutely. Okay, I was thinking about flat top my phone.
Yes, leave your hair alone. Dad.
Okay. So the thing is, find something that gives you a sense of joy. Because I like what Helen Keller said. She said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. And we have a lot of fun in what we do, don't we? Are you laughing at me?
No, I'm laughing at myself because I have the hiccups. Just keep going.
Okay. Of all the places for you to have the hiccups. All right. So as you look at yourself, look at your dreams, what resonates with you?
Yes.
Because when you start experimenting, you'll find certain things that just jump out for you. I remember seeing my destiny, but I didn't know it at the time, with Mr. Leroy Washington, this man who changed my life. See, how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. When I was in the 5th grade, I was labeled educable mentally retarded and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. But my junior year in high school, I stepped into this man's room. All of us have defining moments. And he said, young man, go to front of the room and I want you to work this problem out for us. And I said, sir, I can't do that. And he said, why not? I said, I'm not one of your students. He said, do it anyhow. And I said, I can't, sir. And the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley's smart. He's DT. And he asked, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk. He looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that jarred me. Mama said sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. But words do hurt you, and deeply. But what he did was he interrupted the story I believed about myself. What we do as coaches, as speakers, and as you do as the message midwife, you help people to formulate speeches that distract, dispute, and inspire, distract people from their current story, and through the execution of their presentation, break down their current belief system and inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, a pencil in the hand of God, and start writing a new chapter in their lives.
I love that.
I have an echo here.
Yes. And so when we think about ourselves, Dad, there is so much that oftentimes we want to do. And I've had coaching clients that say to me, well, it seems like there's not enough time in the day, or it seems like no matter what I'm doing, I get progression and then I regress. I make 4 steps forward, I make 5 steps back. It seems like I make 20 steps forward, I make 50 steps back. How do you keep moving forward? What do you say to someone who's feeling stuck right now? In this time, in this era, how do they press beyond that feeling stuck?
You got to work on yourself. You got to work on your mind. Earl Nightingale had a point that you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. I'm encouraging you to go on YouTube and find Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. You'll find me speaking to over 80,000 people. And then I also want you to find the speech called It's Possible. You hear me talking about the bamboo tree. And then you want to watch the one called You Deserve, and another one called Getting Unstuck, because a lot of people are stuck in fear right now and uncertainty and feeling powerless in the face of the coronavirus. And so as you feed your mind, allow your doubts to starve to death. When you feed your mind, you fortify your faith. You strengthen yourself from the inside out. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And so that's one thing. The other thing is, and something that we're doing right now, you want to develop your power voice. What do you mean by that? Today, everything has changed. It's gone from brick and mortar to click and order. Today, attention is the new currency. To be able to stand before a computer, going from butts in the seat to eyes on the screen, and to hold attention, to call attention, and to direct attention. That's major. People who cannot call attention to themselves, to their story, I love that facial expression you have. Thank you very much. Yes, this is the day that attention is the new currency as well as knowledge. And so your ability, because it's going to be a long time before we go back to what we used to do, gathering in crowds. I'm not coming out of the house until 2027. That's right.
That words are so powerful.
Okay, I'm fine in the house. I look. You see those trees over there? They know me well. This is my virtual hug for them. Yeah, listen. I'm very happy. I'm fine up in here because this is a brand new day. And so you have to be flexible, versatile, and adaptable. This is a time, we're in this place where Einstein said, the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. So you got to throw your net on the other side. You've got to be versatile and adaptable and being willing to learn some new skills so that you can control your own personal economy, so that you can make your life recession proof. You've got to be able to tell the story about yourself, your products, your service, your industry, your business, so that you can attract customers.
Yes. And so the power voice is something that all of us have inside of us. It's the people that are willing to do the work to cultivate that voice that is within them, to cultivate and to work on bringing that out so that it can make an impact on people's lives. It can actually attract new opportunities, attract new businesses, attract and create new promotions or new ideas or innovations. All of that happens when you're willing to work on something that you've been blessed with, and that is the instrument of your voice.
Yeah, nothing happens until it's spoken. Just think about this, for instance. My favorite book says, death and life is in the tongue. Why did it say death and life is in the tongue rather than life and death? Because most people speak death rather than life. Now more than ever, we need people who are willing to speak life, people who are willing to give people hope, because when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. We know that when evil prevails, when good men and women do nothing. And so it's a time where if you are one of those individuals who you've said to yourself, you know what, I don't want to just work and pay bills and have a roof over my head and have food on the table. I want to live a life that will outlive me. A life of significance. I want to make an impact and build a legacy rather than liabilities. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And so as you look at yourself and look at your goals, ask yourself, what are the things I've seen? What are the things that I've experienced? See, you have a story, just like we have a story. And there are certain people that's going to respond to me. Some people are going to respond to both of us. But there are people that's going to respond to you, because behind every voice and every story, there's a frequency. You got a tribe out there that's waiting to hear you. And Maya Angelou, she made a very good point. She said, there's nothing as painful as an untold story buried in your soul.
Ooh-wee. Come on, Dad. You on fire today.
It's okay, baby. That's all right. All right. All right. You get the water, but it won't put this fire out. I'm hungry. And so you want to develop yourself. I want you to write this down. Put your money where your mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever business that you're in, your ability to tell the story about yourself, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. The ability to tell the story about your product or your industry or the things that you have an interest in or your movement, that's going to be major for you to attract people to you. As I said, attention is the new currency. To get attention, to hold attention, and to direct the attention. And here's something else that's very important. Not only must you invest in yourself and develop your communication skills, as Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown, once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. You must invest in positive, powerful relationships. Create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said, we earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of our closest friends. Let me tell you something. When I heard that, I got all the broke people out of my life. I used to be so broke, I walked past a bank and tripped the alarm. People say, but it won't make you happy. But everybody want to find out for themselves. So it's very important for you to look at your relationships and ask this key question. And Jim Rohn posed this. What is this relationship doing to me? Mm-hmm. Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually? And your brother said something that's very important. John Leslie, he's an author and speaker and trainer. He said, when you're looking at your goals and dreams, ask this question. Who should you count on and who should you count out? There are people who are always there when they need you. But when you need them, you can't find them. And so you have to decide, let go or be dragged. There are people who will drag you down. Study just came out recently that if you're in a relationship with somebody that's highly critical of you, they'll send you to an early grave.
Who's the matter with me?
Yes, but there's a song that says, I feel lonely whenever you are around. Who sang that song?
I know her
Erykah
name.
Badu?
Not Erica, the other girl. I can't think of
That's
her name.
okay,
right
but
now.
there's another quote that I love, though. It's better to be alone than to wish you were.
That's right.
Come on now, Frankie Crocker. All right, out of New York. He was a bad disc jockey. So you have to look at your relationships and ask this question. Is this good for me? Am I growing mentally and spiritually and financially? Am I upgrading my life? Do I have somebody around me to hold me accountable? See, the right relationship can take you to a place within yourself that you can never go by yourself. So relationships are very powerful. Many people never achieve their greatness and never achieve their goals because they have too many toxic, negative, energy-draining people in their lives. So during this time, during this space where we are now, look at these relationships that are around you. Mama used to say, birds of a feather flock together. If you run around with losers, you will end up a loser.
That's right. Her name is Jill Scott.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Bothering me.
I feel lonely whenever you are around. Whoa, because most people are dying in relationships rather than living in relationships. Go ahead, baby.
But Erykah Badu did say, pick your friends as you pick your fruit. And I believe that oftentimes, Dad, we say these things about relationship capital. We talk about the value of relationships, but we skip a step in that process because everyone is saying not everyone knows how to find quality friends. Choose people that complement them, that can support them, that can help to uplift them, and they can do the same. And it can be a reciprocal type of relationship where everyone is winning together and we are building with one another and we're turning to each other instead of on one another. And so here's something that I want to put out to you that you can think about, because I remember hearing Dad have these conversations around relationships years ago. And I would think to myself, yes, but I'm I'm not attracting the right people, or I don't know how to pull the right people into my life and have them be a part of my team, a part of what I'm building and what I'm doing. And here's what I heard, and this quote shifted my life. And that is, there are two types of people in the world: givers and takers. The takers sometimes eat better, but the givers always sleep better.
Come on now. Come on, yes.
And I knew then, when I heard that quote, I knew I was a giver. And I knew I wanted to surround myself with other givers. There were people that would say to me, hey, Dr. Ona, I want to take you to lunch. I want to pluck your brain. And I would say, okay. Then we get to lunch. They order everything. Then the bill comes. Oh, I left my purse or my wallet. Oh, I got to use the bathroom. And I'm sitting here stuck with the bill. Now I have people that are such givers. We love outgiving each other. We fight for the ticket. We fight for the bill. I'm treating. No, I'm treating. No, it's on me. No, it's on me. Because that is the way that we resonate with one another, and we are cut from the same cloth and branches of the same tree. So here's what I say to you. Decide who you want to be. Do you want to be a giving person? Do you want to be a loving person? Do you want to have a life that's filled with joy and creativity and heart-centered movements, and a life that's filled with productivity and also abundance and joy and laughter? If that's who you are deciding and setting an intention to be, then you have the ability to also set an intention to surround yourself with people that have similar views and beliefs and core values, so that you can build and grow together.
See, there's certain kind of people that's going to come out of this place where we are: millionaires, billionaires, or witnesses.
Ooh, ouch. That hurts.
Millionaires, billionaires, or witnesses. And the majority of people will be witnesses. Why? Because they've been indoctrinated with an entertainment-driven mindset. The majority of people are spending billions of dollars watching pornography, many hours looking for entertainment on television.
And Netflix.
And Hulu.
And the television.
Yes. Come on now. Yes. No. You want to be empowered, and that's what you're doing. You're investing in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It says a lot about who you are. And also, we have to give kudos to Bernardo for creating this powerful platform, because it's what you've been saying for years. The Best You Expo. Yes. Most people go away, Dad, from seminars knowing that various speakers are great and amazing, but you help people to get in touch with who they are so that they can find the greatness within themselves. So this platform is what is needed now more than ever, because who is that says that adversity introduces us to
Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. Yes, adversity introduces you to yourself. You know, the quote I love very much: in life, you will always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. And what we're going through right now with the coronavirus, it's a God-ordained opportunity to remind ourselves that we're made in the likeness and image of God, to remind ourselves that we've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, to remind ourselves greater is he that's in us than he that's in Corona.
Yes.
Come on now. And let me share this with you.
COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19. I don't know what the 19 stands for. What does that stand for?
I have no idea.
Okay, me neither. All right. Let's go. Here's the other thing. You not only have to work on your mind and put your money where your mouth is. Invest in your communication skills so that you can build collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, so that you can call attention to yourself and to your products and to your services. Hold that attention and direct that attention, because when you speak, you distract, dispute, and inspire. When you speak, people are asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And your ability to speak, to express yourself, it makes all the difference in the world. The other thing that's very important right now than ever is to know life is difficult. You know, I have apologized to 2019 so many times. I said, 2019, I'm so sorry for all the bad things I said about you. Can you come back and delete 2020? Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, we're living in a time you're afraid to sit next to somebody for fear that you can get the coronavirus, or to talk to somebody and you might die. Just imagine somebody's breath kicking so hard, like Bruce Lee, that you could die. I mean, come on now. I'm saying the fear is real, because it can cost you your life. Now, there's some crash dummies out there. Oh, I want my right to be around crowds if I want to. Very good.
You know what, Dad? I think that in addition to the COVID-19 conversation, we need to go deeper on a subject that you cover in your book, and that is the COVID environment and the effects of COVID-19. There are people that have been isolated and being compliant. There are people that are suffering with depression. They are suffering with isolation, fear, and doubt and worry. There are people that have been going through mental challenges right now and depression. And there are also people that have been suffering with, how do I move forward in the midst of all of this? Because I feel like I'm getting lost in the shuffle. Because when I turn on the television and I turn on social media and I look at all these things around me, I don't see anything really positive. So you and I, we have the ability to sometimes laugh through challenges. We have the ability to create priceless moments, and because we're working on ourselves and we're reading and we're meditating and we're pushing ourselves. And you have rough days and I have rough days, but the reality is we get through it together. What about those people that may not have positive people around them? What about the people that don't really know because they've never had to deal with this type of challenge before? You fought through cancer. You fought through burying your mother and your best friend, Uncle Boo. You've had to fight through a lot of things in your life. And then people right now are facing things and challenges that they have to fight through that they may feel like, I don't know if I'm up for this fight.
Well, you are. You are able to. You were born a winner. You had to fight to get here. Out of 400 billion sperm, you won. That's how you got here. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. Life is hard. It's difficult. It's challenging. Trust me on this. It's hard. If you don't believe it, just keep on living. That's why the book of life says, think it not strange that you'll face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. It's a part of the process. But in the midst of all of that, here's what we know. When you have setbacks, when you have rejections, when you have failures, Willie Jolly was right. A setback is a setup for a comeback. I was right. If life knocks you down, try and land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Yes, you have comeback power.
Yes, you do.
You're stronger than you realize. You don't know enough about yourself to be a cynic. And so you give it everything you have. A.L. Williams said, all you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough. But make sure you do all you can do. And what I realized, when I look at my own life, about the fact that I said, I haven't done enough, that I want to do more. And you said, Dad, you've done a lot. But I don't feel like I've done a lot. I feel that I have more in me, that I know that there are two ages. You have a chronological age and a biological age. I don't feel 75. I still have the fire in my belly. My goal is to leave a legacy. I have 15 grandchildren and 4 great grandsons. And so my goal is to leave a legacy, to leave the world in better shape than I found it. Horace Mann said, we should be ashamed to die until we have made some major contribution to humankind. And we got people today, baby, that's trying to turn back the hands of time. And I'm glad that I'm still here, that I still got the fight, the courage, and got a voice, and can speak and can still make a difference and impact people's lives. And that I get to participate to be a part of the solution rather than a part of the problems.
Yes, and there are also so many people that are doing so much beautiful work. And I don't
Yes.
believe we give them as much recognition, acknowledgement, and praise as we do the bad kids.
Yeah,
right?
that's
The bad
true.
kids of the planet. There's so many people that are first responders. There's so many people that are teaching their children at home while running their businesses and making sure that their parents are okay. The sandwich generation. There's so many of us that are working to fight to keep their relationship alive instead of throwing in the towel, while at the same time learning and relearning themselves and pushing and growing themselves so that they can be competitive in this global economy. So there's so many of us that are out here working on a day-to-day basis to keep the good fight of faith and to make a difference in the world. And so to those people, we salute you and we honor you. And we want to make sure that we are giving you inspiration, because you are someone that, as you're living your life and answering the calling on your life, and you're doing what you're here to do, you're living a purpose-driven life, you are actually the answer to someone's prayer. And that is something that most of us would want to celebrate, but oftentimes we get distracted with the negativity. We get distracted with the bad kids. We get distracted with the negative narrative that we're not, this isn't happening or that isn't happening. But I believe that we have to hold the vision. We have to press forward and hold the vision for what we want in this thing called life. And so the value of what you've been saying for years, in the 90s, you were telling people that they could live their dreams. And this was, I believe, ahead of its time, because people were saying, live your dreams. Wow, what does that look like? I just go to work, I just pay bills. But now it's like I've met people all over the world who have said, because of your father's words, because of his voice, I am now a multimillionaire. I am now a mother, a grandmother, and a wife for over 40 years. I am now an entrepreneur. I'm an inventor. I'm a doctor. I'm a high-powered attorney. I am someone who writes books. I touch people's lives. I found my voice because of hearing your father's voice.
You know, I want to recognize you for something. You know what amazes me, what I admire about you?
What?
You are so much like your grandmother. Mama never had any children herself. She took us in as foster kids and she adopted us. Ona has so many foster kids. Kids, young men that you have met and literally became their spiritual mother. When I hear them say mom, it gives me chills, and how you love them and how you encourage them and how you inspire them. And she gets them from everywhere. I say, where are you meeting all these people? She is a networker extraordinary. She and her brother, John Leslie.
Oh, yes.
So
John
my
Leslie
hat's
knows
off.
everyone.
Oh, yes. So hats off to you that you meet these young people and you pour into them. You take time with them. And that's what happened for me, that Mr. Washington, he took time with me. He talked to me. He saw something in me at a time when I was struggling to see something in myself. All of us need somebody who would believe in us until our belief kicks in. Yes. And you do that for young people all the time. And I just want to say I admire you for that. And we've never had this conversation, but I really, really hold you in high esteem and say, You are just like your grandma. My goodness, so much like her.
That's a compliment, Dad. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Here's something else. When you think about your goals and dreams, ask yourself the question, what radical change must take place in me in order for me to do what I need to do? Paul said, I must die daily. There's a part of you that must die. There's a part of you that coming out of this space where we are now needs to stay here as you go into this new place outside of here. Why, Les? Because there are certain things, certain people, certain places that's off limits for you to be able to manifest your greatness. All accomplishments happen twice. First in the mind and then in the without. And so there are certain habits, certain choices. Einstein said, the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And so as you start thinking, what is it about me that I need to change? There's an old saying, I'll never forget, a friend of mine named Porky. I was going through a tough time, and I always talked to Porky about some of the challenges I was facing, and he said something and it just stayed with me. He said, hey man, wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. Whoa.
Ooh, you can say that again.
Wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. Yeah, there are choices and there are consequences for our choices. And at any given time, we can choose to take another direction. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and I selected the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference, Robert Frost. And so when we decide to take the road less traveled, when we decide to hold ourselves to a higher standard, operating out of the thinking of Henry David Thoreau, who said, do not just go where everybody else go. You want to go and take the higher road. Do not follow everybody else. You want to be different. You want to be.
Go where there is. Don't go where there is a trail.
Yeah, do not go where there's a trail. Go where there's no trail and leave a no. Do not go where the path may lead. Go where there's no path and leave a trail. Yes, thank you very kindly. Next time you ever see me in a fight with a gorilla, help the gorilla. So as I was saying, so you want to travel the road less traveled. The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it, because few there be that are willing to discipline themselves. Few there be that are willing to hold themselves to a higher standard. Few there be that have goals and dreams that they want to achieve. Most people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. So you want to be the kind of person with a larger vision.
Yes.
Of yourself, of what's possible for you, and that it's necessary. Because if you're casual about your dream will end up a casualty. You've got to decide, I'm going to do this. This is a non-negotiable. When I said I was going to buy your grandmother a home, that was a non-negotiable. And you're going to have failures. You're going to have disappointments. Walt Disney filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. I had all kind of failures and disappointments. Went through foreclosure. All kind of stuff happened. Sleeping on the floor of the Penobscot building in downtown Detroit. Bathing in the sink down the hall. You know, you were there. You were witnesses. And I just kept going. I kept going. You will fail your way to success. Even a broke clock is right twice a day. Let me share something with you. I want to ask you. If you had your life to live over again, could you have done more than what you've done thus far? When I ask an audience for a moment and say, I think because of the distractions of life, We get so caught up in this thing called life. It took me 21 years to complete this project. And then when the coronavirus happened, I completed it because of my daughter. She helped me. We used this downtime productively. And John Leslie said they call it downtime is because that's when people engage in behavior that keeps them from going up. And so we decided during the downtime, we will engage in behavior to complete things that we've been thinking about. Yes. And we completed this book. I did as much as I could. And then Ona took it to the next level. She took it. Line. Come on, dog. That's what I'm talking about. I was shocked. You took it. I did all I could do. As you took it, you said, give this to me. And I did. I gave it up. I had no resistance. I am so very fortunate to have you as my daughter. I am so very fortunate. God has really blessed me with so much like me. I wish you had a beer. But the point is this. The point is this. As you look at yourself, look at your goals, challenge yourself, push yourself. Sometimes we have to just be willing and have the courage to operate outside of our comfort zone. Why? Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. And you have to reinvent yourself. You have to begin to realize that there's more in you. Simba, you're more than that which you have become. And I say to you, I can't see you, don't know you. You are more than that which you have become. There is more in you than you are now expressing. Yes. There are opportunities for you. There are goals for you. There are other things that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind that God has in store for you. If you bet on you, if you believe in you, if you do what you can, and God will do what you can't.
That's good.
Can you tell we love this?
And we love this. And what I hear, what's resonating with me is the willingness to face your fears, the willingness to be courageous in those moments. And it takes me back to a time that I'm so glad that I was an obedient daughter. And you would say to me, Ona, this is a former attorney, a former stay-at-home mom. This is a doctor or someone who has a voice. They have a story. I know you can get it out of them. I believe in you. You can make it happen. I've got to catch a flight. Goodbye. And so you would leave me there. And I would be this introverted, shy person in her 20s, shaking, nervous, and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing this to me again. Why does he keep doing this to me in my mind? But I would say to the person, tell me about yourself. Copious notes. And extracting their concepts on life, their philosophies and beliefs on life, their valleys in the timeline of their lives, the challenges that they had to overcome, the sad moments, the highest moments. And as I'm pulling all of this out, little did I know that I was giving birth to a part of me that I didn't know existed. And she's known now as the message midwife.
Yes.
And so because of me willing to face my fears and my nervous, introverted energy, to do what my dad said that he believed that I could do. As he said, sometimes you have to believe in someone else's belief in you until your belief can kick in. I was willing to do that and be uncomfortable until I was able to get to a place of being very comfortable and to a place where I've reached over 10,000 hours of work in that arena, in that area, to reach what Malcolm Gladwell says is the mastery level. That's when you have invested the time and the energy. Did I want to do it initially? No. But guess what? I was bitten by the bug, and then I loved doing it. So had I said, Dad, this is too fearful for me, I'm leaving. When you go out that door, I'm coming right behind you. When you catch your flight, I'm jumping on that flight too. Had I not been willing to do what he asked me to do, I may have never met that person. I may have never been able to have that experience to watch people give birth to their message and to be known as the message midwife. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm thankful that you saw that in me and was willing to push me in that way and allow me to be utilized on your behalf in your vision. I'm playing out a role within your vision. Thank you, Dad.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. You can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
Yes.
And so as we look at ourselves and look at where we are right now, something you said, Ona, and I truly believe this is real. Gaps are from God.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But when you have moments like this, where you can think and reflect on your life, see, the majority of people are worriers. They're worrying. No. You don't want to be a worrier. For our future, for future generations, we are in a fight. For our destiny, we are in a fight. People who have visions of turning back the hands of time, we're in a fight. And right now, you have to take a stand. I believe, therefore, taking you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, that having done all to stand. It's a time to stand. Nothing will change until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are affected. We're in a fight. And our children are watching us. The Center for Disease and Control said that the suicide rate among teenagers has spiked, yes, as well as among adults.
Right now is a time for you to fight for your peace. Fight for your mental stability. Fight to control and manage your emotions. If you notice people that when you do go out, people are driving kind of wild and jumping in front of lanes. And so there's frustration, and maybe this is the only time I get to vent, when I get behind the wheel and I feel like I'm on a horse, right? But whatever that is for you, fight for it. Because if you don't fight for your dream, if you don't fight for your mental stability, if you don't fight for your family and fight for your own peace of mind and your own place of centering, you will find yourself in a place of loss. And you don't have to lose here. No. Dad has been saying for years and has a powerful book called It's Not Over Until You Win. Mm-hmm. You have what it takes to win. And the reality is, if you continue to do this type of work, where you are sitting and taking notes and studying and listening to people that have been there, done that, and got a t-shirt and a keychain to go with it, and being willing to be in that place of renewal and new beginnings, and to understand that you have to work on yourself, sharpen your axe, and do what is required for you to continue to press forward, to continue to know that you have what it takes to make it through this, not to just go through it, but to grow through it. That's what we want you to do, right, Dad?
Absolutely. And know this. You're not like everybody else. Majority of people are looking at things that will give them relief from stress, escapism, watching sports. You're not a spectator. You're a player. And get to know that, and that it's lonely at the top. Understand that when you're pursuing your goals and dreams, when you're disciplined, you have something you're working on, you are committed. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts should be established. All thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. You are a player, and it's lonely at the top, but you eat better. Yes. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals, understand and know everybody is not going to see it, but it's not necessary that everyone sees it. You see it. That's what's important. You believe it.
He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see.
Yes.
So I used to ask the audience, what you looking at?
Yeah. That's right.
What do you see for yourself?
And when you operate from that kind of thinking, the possibilities are just unlimited. Now, there are some of you who have questions that you'd like to ask, and we want you to get ready to ask your questions because we would love to answer your questions. We have so much more to share with you. We have to condense 3 days in a very short period of time. And there's some of you that have a story, some of you that want to make a difference, some of you right now saying, I'm trying to figure out where do I go from here? Some of you among those over 50 million people have been laid off. Some of you are those who have been eliminated by the job market because of artificial intelligence, robots, or cheap labor abroad. But here's what we know. You are greater than anything that's ever happened to you. Here's what we know. You have greatness in you. I've heard people say, it's not over till the fat woman sings. Well, some people quit when she's just clearing her throat. And they quit. No!
And if you have by chance been laid off, if you have by chance been given a pink slip, if you have by chance had your hours decreased, please know that you weren't laid off. You were released to your highest good.
Yes. Helen Keller said, when one door closes, another door opens. But most of us spend time talking about, complaining about, crying about the closed door. We don't see the open door. Had I not been fired from WVKO radio station, I would not have become a state representative from the 29th district in Columbus, Ohio, and passed 14 bills my first term. Had I not been available to resign from the Ohio legislature, to go back to Miami to take care of Mama when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. I remember ringing the doorbell and Miss Mildred answering the door and said, Mamie, Leslie's here. And hearing your grandmother say, I knew my boy would come. I knew my boy would come. Had I not been fired, I would not be a motivational speaker and spoken in over 51 countries and been able to build a business with my children and now working on my grandchildren and great grands. Had I not been fired, I would have not been able to touch the lives of millions of people around the world and have a business that will outlive me, that will go into the future. Everything happens for our good. My prayer has been, Lord, give me this if it's for my highest good. If not, give me its equivalent or something better. Trust me on this. There's something better for you. Trust me on this. Believe in you. Become a risk taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? Leap and grow your wings on the way down. Walk by faith and not by sight. You've got the power. There's more in you than you realize. There's a presence. There's an energy that you have. There are ideas. The money has not left the planet. There's no shortage of money, just a shortage of thinking and imagination and people with the courage and the innovative mindset to carve out a place for themselves in the economy. What do you want to do next with your life? What does that next chapter look like for you? They want to ask some questions? Land the plane? Okay, very good. We got 5 minutes to land this plane. Very good. What would you like to say? And then I'll be the cleanup man.
I'm proud of you, and you're amazing.
Very good. Thank you so much for your brevity. Here's what I'd like to say to you. As you think about your goals and dreams, it's possible. It's possible. There's some things you can't say that you can do and be in integrity. But you can say, if anybody at any point in time had a dream and made it happen, then it's possible I can have my dream, because those people are only an example. They're not an exception. Your dream is possible. I did not live this dream that I'm now living for 14 years because I was suffering from possibility blindness. I just couldn't see myself doing it. I didn't see myself speaking for corporations. I'd never worked for a major corporation. I didn't see myself having the credibility because I didn't have the money and poured into me like a Tony Robbins who had millions of dollars poured into him for an infomercial. I didn't have that. He had the complexion of connection. I have the complexion of rejection. But I believed that it was possible and that it was necessary. When you believe your dream is necessary, you will find a way. When you believe your dream is necessary, you'll make a way out of no way. People who believe their dream is necessary take no prisoners and eat the wounded. And it's you. George Bernard Shaw said the people that make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. And it's hard. It's hard when you lose your job. You never saw it coming. It's hard when you have creditors breathing down your neck and you're scared to answer the phone. Got the children lying like I used to. My daddy said he ain't home. It's hard. You can't even think right. But you can do hard. You can do hard. It's easy to give yourself a pass, to be depressed, to feel sorry for yourself, to worry, to look at the bills. Oh, what am I going to do now? No. You don't want to be a worrier. You want to be a warrior. You can do hard, and it's worth it. Our kids are watching us. It's worth it. Your life is worth it. You were chosen for such a time as this. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which I sighed. You've come over a way that with tears have been watered would come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. You're here for a reason. You were called to be here. There's a calling on your life. Your voice, your story, your gifts, your talents are needed now more than ever before. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy.
And Dr. Ona, your pride and joy.
My pride and joy. Saying it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. We love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Guys, thank you so much. It was we absolutely loved it. Everyone has been in stitches and so inspired by you both. What an amazing! How proud you must both be of each other as a father and you know, and you, Ona, with who your father is and what he represents, and you, Les, to have such a beautiful and such an inspiring daughter. I mean, seriously, what a great presentation, what a great talk, so inspiring. So I've got a lot of questions here, so I'm going to fire a few, if that's okay, because we've got some very happy campers here. One question from Jokin is asking, one thing that you would teach a young child age 6, what would it be?
What would you say, Ola?
I would say the fact that the child is special. That was one of the things that I believe was instilled in me as a young girl that helped me to accomplish so much. And just knowing that I had something special about me. And I remember hearing my great grandmother tell me that, my grandmother tell me that, my mother tell me that, my aunties tell me that, my father. So it was coming from a lot of different directions. And after a while, you plant those seeds and it starts to just take root. And all of a sudden, you start to live in such a way. So when my peers wanted to do things like, you know, skip school or whatever, it was not interesting to me because I saw myself as a special person that was here to do special things. And so when I have people ask me, what would you say is important to instill in our young people? The specialness you have. Dad has been saying it, you have something special, you have something great inside of you, and it's up to you to bring it out.
I agree with that 100%. When I was labeled educable mentally retarded, I remember when Mama came out of the principal's office and she said, "Boy," I said, "Yes, ma'am, Mama. Don't pay them any attention. You're special. You're my boy. You're special. You do the best you can. And keep in mind, hard head makes a soft behind."
Brilliant. Absolutely love it. I've got another question here. Someone who coaches people and says, "How do I get people to listen to me if I'm new to this and didn't have the voice before? How can a coach get their clients?"
Let me jump in on this first, please.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm actually the real coach of the family, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Say that for me, Dad talked about this 101 monkey theory. And that was something that shifted me when it comes to my coaching initially in 1995, before everyone and their mother became a coach. I decided that I wanted to have he said, if you do something over 100 times, it will release and reveal its secrets to you. So I had mandatory coaching sessions with my brother, John Leslie, with his friends that would come over and want to play. And I would sit them down and say, okay, you're 10 years old. What do you really want to do with your life? Let's have a serious coaching session. And I was coaching my friends and different people that I met. My goal was to get over 100 sessions in under my belt before I charged a person a dime. And each time I grew in that process. Each time I learned different insights. Each time I learned how to position certain questions. And I realized that it wasn't about me. It was about who they were, because all of the answers are inside of your client. And you have to show up as the escort, as the observer, the witness, to extract and to pull those answers out of them and to hold them accountable to what you find. And so doing the work, getting the results, and then it builds your confidence. But I remember the first time after doing those free sessions, I charged $75 and I was shaking and nervous to say that to the woman. And she wrote the check. She said, "Wow, the session was powerful. Here's your check." I said, "Just put it on the desk. Just put it on the desk." Because I felt uncomfortable receiving the $75. And now I charge thousands for coaching. But I just want to say to that person, be willing to do the work, be willing to be the message, and know that it will come if you consistently do what you love. And that's to impact people's lives through the tool of coaching.
Yes, get a coach. You know, Muhammad Ali said, "I'm the greatest." And he never won a championship without Angelo Dundee. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He never won a championship without Phil Jackson. You can't read the label when you're locked in the box. It's very important to have someone with a trained eye that can look at you, that has achieved some things, that have experiences, and that have the capacity to take you to a place inside of yourself that you can't go by yourself. Get a coach. If you're serious and you want to be a dominant speaker and create an experience that will transform people individually and collectively, get a coach. and find someone that's speaking on the level that you want to speak on to be that person. Next question, please. Can't hear you.
Sorry. I loved what you both were talking about, relationships and how many people live in a relationship that obviously doesn't mean anything anymore, and they don't make that decision, and they live a very unhappy life, and obviously at the end of it they have these deep regrets. Why don't people take action? Because that's the thing, isn't it, Les? I think at the end of the day, it's all these regrets that we're going to have at the end of the life, and mainly when it comes down to relationships, although some people are fearful of rejection, you're better off in being alone, isn't it? I loved, there was from Brené Brown, Braving the Wilderness, she was talking about, I would rather be alone. And there's so many things that one would rather be alone than be around people that are negative, or people that aren't helpful, or people that don't support you, or people that don't believe in your dream. But so many people still stick to those relationships years after years after years.
It's an unhealthy addiction. I believe what Frankie Crocker said. It's better to be alone than to wish you were. And what's most important is a good relationship with yourself. That's most important, because you can't give away something that you don't have. And a lot of people don't make a decision until they get to the point where they say, I've had it. I saw a friend of mine that I was an admirer of her as a kid, next door neighbor, Miss Lillian. And she had a husband, Mr. Marvin, who was an alcoholic, and every Friday there was a fight. And years later, when I saw her, I said, how you doing? She said, fine. And I said, how's Mr. Marvin? Oh, she said, oh, we are not together. We haven't been together for years. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. She said, oh, don't be. No. I said, what happened? She said, I'd had it. I'd had it, the way he treated me. I'd had it, being mentally and emotionally and physically abused. I'd had it. And I decided I wanted something better. And one day when he left to go to work, and I was preparing like I was going to work, I got in a car and I kept driving for hours until I left the state of Florida. And he never saw me again for years, until I came and attended his mother's funeral. I'd had it. And that's when people make decisions, when they say, I've had it. That's when they conjure up the courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the willingness to act in spite of the fear, because you believe and become convicted in your spirit that you deserve better.
Yes.
Amazing. So lovely. So you're obviously not slowing down. You're just getting started, Les. I can see you. And obviously you've enjoyed the whole coronavirus as far as even more creativity. What are you working on now? What are your next projects?
My next project is you learn, you earn, you pass it on. And so now it's finding people that are hungry to get their story out, hungry to make a difference, and want to be coached on how to create an experience with an audience that will transform them individually and collectively. I believe we need more voices of hope, and to work with my daughter, who's the message midwife, and that we are able to pull a person's story out. We love that. And to show them how to organize it, and how to deliver it, and how to create special moments, how to expand the mind, touch the heart, and ignite the spirit. We love that. That's what we master. And so that's what we do. And we don't have to travel to do it. We could do it virtually. And this is a speaker's dream. We don't have to get on airplanes or rent rooms or go to another hotel. We could do it virtually, just like we're doing this now. That's how I plan to check out, to finish strong, to multiply and create voices of hope on the planet.
Well, Les, so far you've been doing an amazing job. It's a beautiful one, and if anything, as you've been saying, this is a time for people to stand out. This is a time that we need leaders. This is a time we need inspirers, and it's time to take action. There's so many people still sitting on the fence. So many people still waiting. So many people still waiting for the new old to come back, and it won't.
No.
This, I think, is a beautiful opportunity. And I was saying that I'm in a period in my life when I'm understanding and appreciating. I think it was a little bit the death of my mum. You know, she passed away in January this year, and I've always understood. Yeah, very sad. I've always understood mortality because I have, but kind of like, you know, I think with time and with life, obviously, you get to understand that, you know, we leave with nothing. We're here for a limited period of time. And I think too many people are holding on to things. And I'm in a period of time where I'm letting go of things because I don't want and I don't need material things, because at the end of the day, we can't take them. It's only what we leave behind, the legacy that we leave behind. And I had a conversation with someone the other day who was disputing the fact that we don't leave legacies. And I said, excuse me, everyone leaves a legacy, a kind word to someone that can change a life, you know, good actions with your kids, inspiring your kids, having a beautiful daughter like you have and how she's now making a phenomenal ripple effect. So it's not only your legacy personally, it's a legacy that you've left with her. So I'm going to leave you with this one. What does legacy mean to you? Because I think people underestimate what a legacy can be or should be or is.
Well, first I want to say something that you talked about, how there are things you're letting go of. The great actress Cicely Tyson came to one of our trainings, and we all had to go up front and share some things about ourselves. And she said, I'm a stripper. And everybody got quiet. And she talked about she had 3 different homes, and they're all furnished, and she had things that were in storage. And she decided to strip away, that she didn't need 3 different homes. She didn't need all of those things in storage that she'd been paying for years and forgot they were even there, don't even know what they were. And the older we get, the more we strip, the more stuff we let go of.
Let go or be dragged.
Yes. Now, as far as your mother, she's in heaven with my mother, who's preparing her a sweet potato pie.
Yes.
My mother could bake a sweet potato pie so good you can't eat it with your shoes on. Had to take your shoes off so you could wiggle your toes.
Yes.
Now, where were we? What's the other piece after that?
Legacy.
Legacy. Legacy means to me, when I hear a Johnny Wimbrey speak, who wrote the book From the Hood to Doing Good, Johnny will see a future that I will not see. Ed Blunt, Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant, my daughter Ona, my son John Leslie, Andy Enriquez, all the various speakers that I've been able to influence or train directly, they will see a future that I will not see. They will touch and transform lives that I did not reach. And the ripple effect of the impact of your life, like what you're doing, you're building a legacy. I'm reminded of the Russian poet and writer, Leo Tolstoy. He said, as I face inevitable death, what in the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? And I believe that the lives that I influence and transform, I believe that the speakers that I train and create a hunger in them to want to make a difference and to live a larger life and to live a life that will outlive them. I believe that my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandsons and daughters, that they will live a life that will outlive me and further this work that I started doing 51 years ago. And fortunately, at 75, I'm able to see my children speak and my grandchildren and the 4 little grands. They can't talk yet, but they will pretty soon. And I'll get a chance to see them. That's our legacy, our children and the spiritual sons and daughters whose lives we transform. The people like you. This is a God moment to me, because you, as much as you have chosen this path, you were chosen for this work. When I was told that it was you, I was so excited. It's because it's your calling. And my goal is to work with people who have a calling on their life like you. I admire you.
Oh, Mr. Brown, those are very profound words that just touch my heart so deeply. Listen, I thank you so much. Sometimes I question what I do, and I question what I do because it's not easy. And a lot of times, people underestimate the time, the effort, the energy. Well, Les, when I started, you've got your beautiful hair, and I'm extremely jealous of it. Okay, I had dark black hair when I started, Les. I've lost it all, and I'm just great.
It's okay, because grass does not grow in a busy street.
Absolutely love it. It's not an easy one, but it is one that I know we touch people's lives, and I'm saying we all do, and we're so generous with what we do, and we love what we do, and we do it because of that. And then unfortunately, there's always people that see the glass half empty, or they want to see the dark side of life. And hey, well, listen, # no negativity, catch you in a breeze, as they say in England.
I love it. Yeah. They just had a study that came out yesterday that said that people who are optimistic, have a spirit of optimism, they live longer than people who are negative, who are toxic. And so because we can look at problems and see the opportunities. Negative people look at opportunities and they see the negatives. So we are what Robert Schuller would call possibility thinkers. And we live, possibilitarians. And we live from that place of power to leave the world in better shape than how we found it.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great. Listen, an hour and a half, long hour and a half with the Browns. I know. Oh, no, you're going to join us in a minute, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Dad's going to join me too.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're just going to go in for a break. We're going to fresh up. We're going to be literally back in 5 minutes. So.
Oh yeah, we got some other stuff that we haven't even touched yet.
This is double whammy, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Well, listen, 5 minutes and we're back. We're still here, so we'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
So we're back. Well, I wanted to do a proper introduction to you, Ona, because, obviously you've been blessing us with your... I shared with you yesterday when we were at when we met originally in New York. And I remember at Mirella Sula's event.
Yeah.
And I remember you blew my mind, and you had those women rocking, and all the men that were there as well. And I remember that it was just truly inspirational to see how passionate you are about what you do. And Ona, well, she's made her mark as an expert in the personal and professional transformation around the world. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. It's just you look very young, Ona, but you've been doing this for a long time, eh? You've got the brown genes there, darling. And you've dedicated your life to facilitating, exceptional results in the life of many people. And you've been motivating so many great people with empowerment. And I want to congratulate you, and I'm very excited to have you here, continue to have you here to sharing kind of. So in this part, what is it you guys want to share? Because you've left us already some amazing golden nuggets. What are you going to share with us now?
We're going to talk about owning your dreams.
Wow.
And what that looks like and how important it is in this day and time.
Oh my God, is it important? And some people that just see the dark. Let's talk about the dream. I can't wait. Thank you so much. Over to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernardo. We love you.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at our lives, there is a time when we have to rise to the occasion. We get to rise to the occasion and to really do what I call take dream ownership, take custody of your lives, to be the dream owner that you were designed to be, and to stop thinking about how it's going to happen, because my father has been saying for years that how is none of your business. And so one of the things that you want to do in that process is to open your mind. Open your mind to the possibilities that whatever's in your heart is possible for you. And once you open your mind, I believe that's the first step in getting closer to becoming a dream owner. I know for a fact for myself, I was closed to the possibilities of speaking before thousands of people. I was closed to the possibilities of having coaching clients that were top executives, CEOs, multimillionaires, and people that had private jets, private helicopters, hundreds of employees to call me their coach and to get insight and revelation and direction on how to take their vision, their lives, their families, themselves to the next level. So I had a limited vision of myself. But here's what I know, and I know that it's possible for every person that's listening right now. If you can decide to set an intention to open your mind to the possibilities. Don't think about how, because as Dad said, how is none of your business. To open your mind to the mindset of you living a life that would make you happy, to you living a life that would meet your minimum requirements for paradise. Okay, to you living a life that will give you joy, where you don't need an alarm clock. You hop out of the bed and say, come on, day, I'm ready for you. For you living a life that will allow you to have significance and to make a difference in the world and to leave your mark, your impact on the world, which is the name of my company, World Impact Now, which is when you have the ability to do that. But are you open to the possibilities of it? Have you shifted your mind to see it? Because if you can see it in your mind's eye, it can happen in reality. And that's where it all starts, with your mind being open. Do you see that, Dan?
Absolutely. And understand and know we're here for a reason. You're no accident. I believe that there is a purpose for everybody's life. It's been said that the two most important days in our lives, the day that we are born and the day that we realize why we were born. And many times some people find out soon. To me, I think I discovered that the reason that I'm here, I was around 38. And then I said to Ona just about 2 months ago, I said, Ona, and she said, what? I said, this is going to kind of shock you. She said, what is it, Dad? I said, people listen to me. I have a voice that people listen to. She said, you just discovered that? I said, what happened? I said, when we went down to Florida and we were speaking at South Dade, Miami-Dade Community College, and there was a PA system that you can hear your voice. And there were students there, and it was outside, and they had all these other people up speaking. And there was noise going on and distractions. And when they introduced me and I started speaking, everything went silent. And I was saying to myself, wow. For some reason, as I was listening to the listing of the audience and I heard my voice, I said, they're listening to me. I said, wow, they're listening to me. I don't know what took me so long, but I'm so glad, and I was so thrilled. I said, I can't wait to tell Ona. And she said,
I could have told you that.
Right,
But for me, Dad, it was people saying to me when I would get engagements, speaking engagements, I love your father. And I hope you can do a little something,
Yeah.
and feeling in my mind that how will I be able to bring value? How will I be able to make a difference? What is it that I could say? And how could I have something that comes out of me that would be able to resonate with people and help people to get that shift, to have that aha, to have that moment of saying, yes, I can do this. I'm ready for this. All of those things were coming up for me. And more than anything, it was, how will I shine my light in the midst of this gigantic shadow? Because I am the descendant of a living legend. So oftentimes we wonder, what is our value and our worth compared to others? We do the comparison game. I've had so many of my coaching clients and they say, what can I do to be like your dad? What can I do to be like Bernardo? What can I do to be like Tony Robbins or Brian Tracy or any of these other greats, Jim Rohn or the great Bishop T.D. Jakes? What can I do to be like them? I said, I can't help you to be like them. But if you want to take on the journey of discovering the greatest you ever, I'm willing to take that journey on with you, of bringing out your unique, powerful voice. I'm willing to take that journey on with you. And so this is what we want to do, is get out of the comparison game. When you start comparing yourself to others, you've lost it, because you were here to be unique. You were born unique. And you've cornered the market on being you. There's no one else like you but you on the entire planet. So why would you step into, what is that quote you say? Most of us are born originals. However,
we die copies. And so the key to it is what you're doing right now. Open your mind and open your heart. Because when you have a closed mind, if you know everything that you're ever going to know right now, you are already obsolete. You've got to be willing to open your mind to the possibility that you can live a larger life. You've got to be willing to open your heart and listen to your heart, where the treasure is also. And when you live a heart-centered life, there are things that you can do that you don't know. When you live a heart-centered life, you're going to go through some stuff, but guess what? When you live from your heart, you will live a victorious life. Because when you give me a person who has heart and you give somebody who has smart, I'm putting my money on the one who has heart, because they have staying power. They have the ability to hang in there, to persevere, to persist, as Og Mandino would say. Persist until you succeed. But if you don't have heart, you'll give up. If you don't have heart, if your heart is not in it, if you don't have, Mama would say, put some elbow grease in it. You'll quit on yourself. You'll quit on your dream. You'll quit on your family and go back to living a small life. No, you've got to be open. And I can do this. You've got to be open in spite of the failures, in spite of the setbacks. You've got to be open that this is not it for me. The best is yet to come. And dig down deep and pull it out and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Look at her.
Yes, Dad. And so in addition to opening your mind and opening your heart, the other thing that is very important is that you observe unceasingly. What do I mean when I say observe unceasingly? That means that you want to start to pay attention to the things that are around you, that's happening, and be present to the moment. Observe unceasingly. Well, that means that what is it that works best for you? Who is it that brings the best out of you? What people do you find yourself being creative with, and you find yourself being excited to spend time with, versus people that drain you and have you feeling depleted and ready to go to bed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because they've zapped you for all of your energy, because they're energy vampires? Be observant of that. What time of the day gives you the most energy? What is it when you're most productive, when you're in the zone? Are you a 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. type of person before the whole world starts to move in your particular time zone? Or are you a person that likes to sleep in a little later, then get up, maybe hit the gym, come back, get some breakfast or a smoothie, and then jump into the zone? Are you a person that needs a little nap in the day?
Or you believe, like I do, that millionaires are made after midnight?
Come on now. So what is it? What time are you in your best place? When are you most productive? When do you come alive in the day? What season of the year is your hottest season? When do you go all in and give it all up? What is it that you see about yourself that is really where you want to start to build and grow from? The areas of challenge. We don't like to say weaknesses, but those areas of challenge where you know you can begin to work on yourself and develop yourself and do better. And what is it that you would say if you're just observing yourself? What have you learned about yourself right now during this time? What has COVID-19 taught you about you?
You know, they say that opportunity knocks on every door, but we believe if you are an observer of your life, opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it. I had to speak in Fort Lauderdale for a major company. And after I spoke, I decided to stay there and listen to the other speakers. They had a campaign called the Success Zone. And it was a campaign that they were going to teach doctors how to communicate with their patients to create fear so that they would take their medication and not have a heart attack or a stroke. So I asked the CEO, I said, "Do you have hypertension?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I want to live." I said, "Then I noticed that you have a fear-driven campaign. Why not talk to people about living, about what it takes to live?" And he said, "That's a good point." Because I was listening and made that observation, in 1 month, I spoke Monday through Thursday, in 1 month for 45 minutes. In 1 month, 4 weeks, I earned $640,000 because I was observing, I was listening. One of the things my mentor, Mike Williams, taught me is we train speakers. That is governed by the Dale Carnegie course, which is a great course. They teach, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. What we teach, never let what you want to say get in the way of what your audience wants to hear. Observe them, listen to them, listen to how they're listening to you. Speak to where they are, get to know them.
And the way you get to know them is by getting to know you. This is a beautiful time for you to get a better relationship with yourself, for you to really know who and whose you are. As we've been saying for years, gaps are from God. So the question is, are you observant of how you feel after you turn off the television or after you watch 45 minutes of social media, you scroll through your Facebook, you scroll through your Instagram, you scroll through the news or whatever platforms you choose to play in? What is it that you feel in your body? What is it that you feel in your spirit? When are you most centered and at peace? Is it after a meditation? Is it after journaling? Is it once you do some therapeutic cleaning, or once you do some therapeutic shopping online? What is it that gives you that sense of inner peace? And are you giving that to yourself on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis? There's a body of work that I created called Discover the Greatest You. And one of the things that I talk about in that book are your smile makers. And so each and every one of us have specific smile makers. And once we are present to those smile makers, making sure that we give that to ourselves, we schedule that on our calendars. We take that time to bathe in the silence. We take that time to read positive messages, to read positive books, to listen to positive, powerful voices like the great Les Brown, and to play it over and over in our head until we can complete his sentences with him. And we know where he's going before he even says it, because the voice of him has become a part of your own inner voice. That is what we're talking about when we say observe unceasingly.
Something else, now urgency. A lady named Lynn Kitchen called Wayne Dyer and talked to Wayne Dyer about collaborating with me to do a public television show to raise millions of dollars for public television. Wayne agreed and I agreed. We both were mentored by a guy named Jack Boland, who used to be the pastor of the Church of Today. And we allowed life to get in the way. And several months passed. And then he called me. I was living in Orlando at the time, Mickey Mouse Land. Hey, Les, yes, this is Wayne, yes. Let's go in and ink this deal. Let's go in and do this special together. And everybody was excited about the possibility of Les Brown and Wayne Dyer doing a public television special together to raise funds for Big Bird. And then he called me. He said, I'm available to come to Orlando. I said, let's do this. And then I got a call a few days later. Are you online? No. Wayne is gone. What are you talking about? Wayne Dyer is gone. Where'd he go? He's out of here. He had a heart attack in his sleep. Whoa. We put that off for several months. And now that special of me working with my very good friend, that will not happen. Dr. Miles Monroe was in South Africa, and I saw the sign, Dr. Miles Monroe doing a couples seminar. I went over and I said, hi, I'm Les Brown. They said, we know who you are. I said, would you let Dr. Miles know that I'm out here? I said, oh, we can't interrupt him. I said, why not? Well, he's doing a couples seminar. I said, trust me. I wrote the foreword to his book. They said, we know. I said, if you let him know I'm out here, he will call me in there or he will come out here. Trust me, I promise you that. So this lady says, no, I'm going to do something better. I'll set up breakfast for the two of you tomorrow morning. I came early. She said 7 o'clock. I was there at 6. She came in around 6:15 with a disappointed expression on her face. She said, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. He left earlier than I thought. Shortly thereafter, Dr. Miles Monroe was killed in a plane crash, he, his wife, and staff in the Bahamas. Live each day as if it were your last. Now urgency. If there's something that you want to do it now. The reason that I wrote and completed the book of You Gotta Be Hungry, when I was out eating with someone and the food tastes so good, it reminded me of my friend Boo. I said, I'm not going to die with this book in me like his recipe book died in him. There's something in you. Live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. Now urgency. There's something that you're supposed to do. Do what you can, as George Washington Carver would say. Do what you can where you are with what you have and never be satisfied. There's something that you are supposed to do. We all have an expiration date. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And in addition to that, I would say, Dad, another important step is for us to outline our plan and to organize our team. Now, when we say outline your plan, that means you want to put it in black and white. You want to make it plain. Put out what it is that you actually see yourself doing and write it out and be very specific. One of the things I can remember initially as an entrepreneur, I was going through some challenging times. And you know, my dad, he used to pride himself in saying that if he was to leave here and he had 1 quarter left to his name, instead of leaving that to all of his children, he would swallow the quarter. Okay, so he believed
because it's not what you leave for your children; it's what you leave in your children.
He believes in this philosophy: if you give a child a fish, they'll eat for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they eat for a lifetime. So needless to say, here I was in the beginning stages of entrepreneurship, and I was really, really struggling. And so he said, I called Dad. I said, Dad, you always say this whole leap and grow your wings on the way down. What if your knees are scraping the cement? What then, Dad? And he says to me, tell me what you do in the morning. I said, I get up and I write out all of my bills. He said, what? I get up and I write out all of my bills so that I can see exactly what I have to be able to make in order to cover all of my bills. He said, don't write out your bills, baby. Write out what you see yourself making in order to have more than enough than your bills. Write out what would be your minimum amount that you want to make every single month so that you're not stressed. You can be able to cover everything you need to cover. You have some to save, and you'll also have some to bless your mom or your different family members. Just think in terms of that number and just focus your energy there, because whatever you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. And so I started to reposition my energy, and I started to plan out and see myself as a successful businesswoman who had multiple streams of income, who had different things that she was able to do to make ends meet and to even be able to go from surviving to thriving. And so what I learned was that not only could I have a great business do as a coach, but also in addition to coaching, doing corporate training, because I was really good at it. And I loved doing interactive, experiential corporate training. So if I wasn't doing corporate training, then I was selling one of my CDs at the time. I'm showing my age. If I wasn't selling one of my CDs, then I was selling one of my books. I had a book of affirmations at that time. If I wasn't selling my book of affirmations, then I was coaching. If I wasn't selling my coaching, then I was speaking. And so I had all of these streams of income, and that came from me creating an outline, a plan of action that I began to gradually implement over time. But guess what? I couldn't do it by myself. I had to organize a team. And when I speak before audiences, I would have the audiences repeat after me and say, solo.
Solo.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Because the day and age of doing me, myself, and I is antiquated mindset, dated methodology. So there's a reason why multi-million and billion-dollar corporations are doing mergers and sometimes with former competitors in order to stay afloat in this global economy. So looking and finding out, when you look at your life, what type of people would be an asset to your life? What type of people would bring or complement your plan of action? What type of people can play a major role in the vision of your dream? And how can they begin to do that in a powerful way? And what are some people that could offset your weaknesses areas of challenge, because there's no one that has it all together. If there is anyone that has it all together, please levitate onto this screen right now so that we can see you. Okay, nobody's done it. Okay. So that means that all of us have areas that we get to know how to learn, how to become better. A person that's really organized is great for our team. A person that has a proclivity for detail is great for our team. These are the type of things that you want to be able to recognize and organize and pull into your reality as you are working to learn how to own your dreams.
Next thing is, you're going to have some stuff happen that you never saw coming. We did not see the coronavirus coming. I was in the restroom in my room at the Cleveland Clinic, and I was being prepared. I was being prepped for the next morning for a procedure. They were going to radiate my spine. They told me that cancer metastasized to 7 areas of my body and eaten 43% of my T1 vertebrae. What I wasn't prepared for, when I had my gown and I looked in the mirror and there was an X near my esophagus. So the nurse was in the room. I said, "Excuse me." She said, "Yes." I said, "Why is this X here?" "Oh, we're going to radiate your spine, and you might not have a voice when you come out of this." I said, "What do you mean?" "You could lose your voice." "I'm a speaker." "They didn't tell you?" "No." You might not, but you can. It's a possibility. You can not speak when you come out of this because of the radiation. I said, "Whoa, my God." I called my children. I said, "Hey, this might be the last time you hear my voice." And I talked to them and told them all that I love them. And then I sat back on the bed and I said, if this is the last night that I will have a voice, I grabbed my phone. I said, I'm going to speak tonight. Sometimes you got to push through some stuff. And so I took my phone out, and there I was in a gown, medical instruments connected to me, nurses coming in and out to give me shots and check on me, all kind of noise from these medical instruments going on. And I gave a motivational speech from my hospital bed. It went viral. Over 4 million people saw it. George Fraser has a George Fraser Network. He saw it. We've known each other for 40 years. He said, who does that? He's giving a motivational speech from his hospital bed. Was I uncomfortable? Yes. Was I fearful? Yes. But I had to push through, push, P-U-S-H, push until something happens. Push through. You're going to have some stuff. Got a friend that's going through a divorce, and I say, push through. It's going to hurt right now, but push through. You'll get past this. Push through. It will not last forever. Push through. Focus and hold your vision on peace of mind, on being at peace with yourself. Push through. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And that kingdom is within you. You're going to have to push through some stuff in life. That's a part of the process. Why? I don't know. And don't go around telling everybody. 80% don't care, and 20% glad it's you. Push through. Because you can handle it. You're stronger than you think, and you give yourself credit for being. And you might have to push through the tears. I know about the pain of cancer and the pain of sciatica pain. I know And I had to push through. I had to give speeches on stage from a wheelchair. I had to push through. It was not easy. The embarrassment of being pushed around an airport, that's not me. I held my head down, hoping that nobody would recognize me. People say, hello, Les Brown, how are you? I had to push through that.
Les Brown, is that you? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And so that takes us to the next point, Dad, and that is to offer up your gifts daily. Offer up your gifts daily. There are so many of us that are hypnotized and mesmerized by where we found ourselves at this point in life. The unthinkable things of not being able to give your own grandmother a hug. The unthinkable things of not being comfortable to go and sit down at a restaurant and have people next to you, or to go to a sporting event or a concert and hear beautiful music and be surrounded with all types of people that are experiencing the music and the musician and their relationship with one another in different ways, because music is an international language. It is something that reaches and crosses all barriers. So in the midst of all of these things that are happening, what we don't want to do is be a witness. We don't want to be someone that is like staring like a deer staring into headlights and wondering how this is going to play out. We owe it to ourselves to offer up our gifts daily. Now, I will be very transparent with you, because I believe there are two types of speakers. There are two types of people that do transformational work, coaches and trainers. They are the type that act as if they have it all together and they're perfect, and you need to be like me and get to be like me with a sense of urgency. That's the first type. And no disregard to that type. But then there's the other type that is real and genuine and vulnerable. And that's the type that I really admire, because it takes guts to admit your own stuff. So when I say to you, offer up your gifts daily, I know for me, I'm not offering my gift up enough. Now, I will compliment people and I will call and speak life into people. But as far as doing what Mr. Brown does, this gentleman that's sitting to my side right here, he gets up, he gets dressed, and he goes on his live and he speaks to people, whether he feels like it or not, whether he's stressed out or not, whether he's dealing with sleep deprivation or not, pain or not. He offers up his gift daily. And I admire that. And that's something that I am working to become a better example of. I do some of my social media sometimes, and most of the time I don't. Oftentimes I'm more introverted. So I will go in the upper room, if you will, and I will be in prayer and meditation and working on myself to be able to push through this time. But what I want to do is offer up more of who I am to the world and give more of who I am on a day-to-day basis. Is that easy? No. Is that something that all of us have the ability to do in some way, shape, or form? Yes. There was one of Dr. Cheryl was talking to her daughter, and her daughter's a teacher. She said, girl, this is your time. Right now, you could have several students that you're training via Zoom and inspiring them and uplifting them. Don't feel just because they don't know what the conversation is about school, whether school is going to be in or be out. What are you doing with your gift? How are you using your gift that you have? Are you offering it up daily?
Before they sedated me, my prayer was, God, I'm not asking you to free me of cancer. My prayer is, please don't take my voice. Please don't take my voice. The next morning, when they came in and they gave me this drip that they told me to count back from 100, and I think I made it to 97. Then the next thing I know, they are waking me up. And I waited before trying to say anything. And then when I got the courage, I asked, "Is it over?" And they said, "Yes." And I knew then they could hear me. And I heard myself. And I relaxed. And I said, "God, if you don't do anything else for me, you've done enough. You gave me my voice. If you don't do anything else for me, thank you. I can still speak. Now, if you decide to give me a bonus, with the cancer, you don't have to move it, just move it to my knee. I don't need two knees. Or my elbow, I don't need two elbows, or two ankles. I can handle the cancer.
Cut a deal, huh?
I was trying to cut a deal, but you gave me my voice so I could finish strong. You don't do anything else. You've done enough so I can finish strong. And I thank you. I thank you. And I get to speak with my daughter. You're in my dream, baby. It's part of my dream, my children to speak with me. You're in my dream. And I hope to wake up and Corona is gone.
Yes. So with that being said, we talked about, what was the other point? You got me messed up, Dad. Why'd you do that? Get emotional and then I can't think.
Yeah. Well, we only have 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes. So yes. We just talked about offering up your gifts daily. Mm-hmm. So then you have to override your fears and your doubts. You've got to override the negative inner conversation. You've got to override that part of yourself that says, I can't do this. I don't have what it takes. I'm not worthy. I'm not ready. You have to override all of that stuff that's blocking you and holding you back. Override it and understand that you can rise above it. All right. So then we go to the final step, and that is onward march. Onward march. I want you to tell them as we close about Jack Boland.
Jack Boland, he was the minister of the Church of Day in Warren, Michigan. Og Mandino, Zig Ziglar, Robert Schuller, many other speakers. Wayne Dyer spoke there, and I spoke there. He's the guy that had to have control. He's the only person I know. He had his funeral before he died. When he realized that he was going to die, he had an event where they brought him in from the hospital in his wheelchair. And he had me, Wayne Dyer, Mary Morrissey, and other friends come up, and we had his funeral. We talked about him and what his life has meant to us and how he impacted us. And then they took him back to the hospital. And they said they only had about 2 or 3 days left. But Wayne Dyer didn't die on March 1st. Wayne Dyer did not die on March 2nd. Wayne Dyer did not die on March 3rd. Wayne Dyer died on March 4th. And in his dying, Wayne was saying to us, March 4th, March 4th. That's our story.
And we're sticking to it. So whatever you're going through right now in your life, whatever you're aspiring to create, whatever you would like to build. If you want to travel the world, if you want to impact lives, if you want to make millions, if you want to build a family, if you want to write books, or if you want to tell stories, whatever it is that you're here to do, we encourage you. Onward, march. March forth. And don't you ever give up. We believe in you. We love you. This has been Dr. Ona Love Brown.
And Les Brown.
And we thank you for being who you are. Own your dreams.
Renato, put your microphone, bud.
Yeah, I lost my voice, Les, there. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. I am seriously, it was just so lovely, both of you. Everyone absolutely loved it. And listen, we want to keep hearing you, and we want to keep hearing you both, and we can listen forever. So Les, Dr. Ona, thank you so much. Thank you for all your love and all your support, all the amazing work you've done over the years. And we're going to make sure that we, provide all the information that you've given us in the booth that we've given you. So thank you so much, both, and keep up this amazing work. We're expecting so much more.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
We appreciate you. We love
God
you,
bless
Bernardo.
you.
Thank
Love you
you.
too. Love you too.
Yes,
Take care.
man.
Lots of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, guys. That was truly inspiring. We obviously loved every minute of it. They're just so special and such a beautiful bond to see father and daughter. So we're delighted and excited, and we're going to continue. We're going to start in another. We're going to have a 5-minute break, and we're going to continue with Mas Sadaji. So please stay tuned. I know lots of you are going to tune in now to watch him. He's got a massive following. So thank you so much, and see you soon. Take care.